Today, we meet the husband and wife team fighting to preserve the Moses African Cemetery in Bethesda, Maryland. They've come to Ghana to honor the children whose graves were erased and disrespected in the U.S., ensuring that their spirits are finally remembered right here in Ghana. Today, I'm at the Diaspora Africa Forum here in Accra, Ghana. This is a place that is the only embassy for the diaspora, and it also has the Sankofa Wall. And this is a wall that honors our ancestors, people who've had an impact or people who deserve to have recognition, didn't get to make it to the continent of Africa before they left this world. Now, today we're honoring the thousands of children whose lives were suffered at the hands of unjust people. Now, there's a cemetery in Bethesda, Maryland, where thousands of Africans, children, were buried. And unfortunately, those grounds have not been maintained, not by the fault of people of African descent, but by people who dug up the graves, people who have disrespected the people who were buried there. So today we have a couple who are here in Ghana to honor the lives of those people with a plaque on the Sankofa Wall here at the Diaspora Africa Forum.
This program is to honor the memories of someone that you're never going to forget.
This is a movement, not only for some to gain citizenship, and it's a movement to restore Africa back to its greatness. I know what you have done here, and so I pledge my support and I pledge my loyalty and indeed, my all, to further your mission so that your goals and your vision will be accomplished. Thank you.
In the 17th and 18th centuries, millions of African children left home and never returned. Their parents died without ever knowing what happened to their children. That is a parent's worst nightmare. Thousands of these children were savagely kidnapped, were trafficked to one of the wealthiest communities in the United States called Bethesda, Maryland. It's where we live, my husband and I live. The majority of these children were tortured, starved, sexually abused, and murdered, but not all of them. In fact, one of those children from maybe Kumasi or Cape Coast or Igbaro K, who simply refused to die, was my great-great-grandmother. And I am the direct descendant of one of those children. We left this continent in the bottom of a ship. My great-great-grandmother arrived in the United States naked, hungry, tortured, terrified, and most likely raped. So this issue for me is not theoretical. This is personal for me. We actually found one case where a 4-year-old girl, but this is not an isolated case, where a 4-year-old girl was being rented out on the weekends for gentlemen's parties. But that little girl did not die. That little girl lived. She lived and she became a freedom fighter. And now we know her relatives. We actually know her great-great-children because she made the decision to live. That's what we're made of. That's the kind of stuff that we are made of. So on the walls of these so-called, what we call slave castles, what we call them in BACC are kidnapping garrisons. Other words, the door of no return. Despite the torture, the sexual abuse, the racism, the denial of our human rights in the United States, we have returned. We have returned. And not only have we returned, but we have returned seeking justice. We have returned seeking justice for our ancestors and a place where we can truly call home. But the barbaric attacks on our ancestors have not stopped in the United States. In the 21st century, in Bethesda, they are now excavating the graves of these little girls. And they expected us to remain silent in the face of their inhumanity. Boy, did they count us wrong. We have fought these people every step of the way. And we intend to fight them until we have no more breath. So instead of treating these remains with dignity, they were dismembered, they were chopped up, and they were scattered throughout the area. In one section, there was asphalt poured on top of the remains in order to create and build a parking lot for a high-rise apartment building. In another section, they're treating it as a trash dump where they throw mattresses and boxes and whatever trash they think is appropriate to put them on the graves of these little girls. And in another section of the cemetery, they're building an 8-story warehouse for furniture so that people will have extra space to hold their belongings. But none of this phases us. We could care less what they do. What we do, we're linear thinkers. We keep fighting. That's what we do. You can raise the building to 100 floors. I don't care. That building is coming down. That building is coming down in the name of our ancestors. We have no doubt about that. We will tear that building down. So the BACC, Bethesda African Cemetery Coalition, was created 10 years ago to stop this barbarism and to fight for the dignity of these children and to educate the world's community, which is what we're doing right now, and the international community about this atrocity. Recently, the Maryland Supreme Court, we've taken this case all the way to the Maryland Supreme Court. We're prepared to take it to the U.S. Supreme Court. We're prepared to take it to the ICU, International Court of Justice, whatever we need to do. But they just rendered a ruling that said, in this case concerns a desecrated burial ground in Montgomery County, Maryland. The ground, sometimes known as Moses Cemetery, was a historic Black burial place that contains interments of many individuals, including formerly enslaved persons and their families. No one expected the conservative Maryland Supreme Court to come out in support of this. That is the spirit of our ancestors, even working through the judicial system. So again, we thank Ambassador Bennett for this incredible opportunity to bring our plight to the attention of the international community. And we look forward to deepening this relationship. As I was telling the ambassador, we're going to bring thousands of people here because our movement is large. No one wants to be associated with desecration. Everyone thinks that it's, déclassé. They think it's disgusting, right? And so even our enemies try to find ways to hide what they're doing. But we're smarter than they are, right? And we have passion for justice. So in loving memory of the thousands of African children and young adults who suffered desecration at the hands of an unjust, prejudiced, and inequitable society at the Moses African Cemetery in Bethesda, Maryland, USA. Thank you so much. This is my mother. I was just saying she'd be so proud. She came to Ghana. And just when I was in school here, and just loved every single minute. So thank you. Thank you so much. This means so much.
Do you know this one?
Yes.
Okay.
This is my mother's sister.
After being presented with the plaques honoring the children, we made our way to the Sankofa Wall, where the legacy of those who contributed to the history of Africans and the African diaspora are honored. Some of them may not have had the opportunity to physically return to the African continent. Today, the children of the Moses African Cemetery are honored.
Thank you for this embassy.
Yes.
Thank you for all that you are doing here. We have more names that we're going to send to add to it. So
Yes, definitely.
bring them home.
Right. So we thank the ambassador, we thank the entire staff for making this possible. And as my husband just said, now my mom and aunt is resting with the little girls as well. So that's very important. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so these little girls are ancestors that we've been fighting to accord them the honor that they deserve, finally getting that honor back in their motherland. So for us, that's a big thing. And then to recognize our church that was built by the ancestors 105 years ago, to now have them on the wall, the Sankofa Wall. We are honoring them. And I'm sure their spirits and their souls are glad that they are home, where they feel valued and honored. That to me is the significance. To me is the significance. So thanking the people of Ghana for allowing this to take place here. It's a place of hope for us.
Who are they, these 6 children? Who are they?
All the children,
Yes.
they are children of Africa. Those who are kidnapped from this land, but carried across the ocean. The ones that survived through the violent ride through the sea, and in spite of the torture, the degradation, the abuse, the rape, some of them survived. And that's why she's here. And that's why I'm able to make a sojourn in the Americas. They are ancestors.
You know, these were children who were just living their lives. They were going to school, they were going to farm, and they were captured, kidnapped, and their lives were stolen, and their lives were placed on the altar of American capitalism. And so without these children, America would not be America. I mean, for 400 years, they labored without a single payment, wage. And not only did they labor without any compensation, they were tortured, they were murdered, they were raped. And even in the 21st century, there is no apology yet from the United States government about the way these people were treated. In fact, what they're trying to do is to destroy any evidence that they even existed. So it's important what we're doing here today, and it's important that we're doing it in Africa to say these children were human. These children had a right to grow up, to get married, to have families. They had a right to breathe. And all of that was denied because of the kidnapping and what happened, and the need to amass so much wealth that now the United States is the wealthiest country in the world, that it's on the backs of those children.
So beyond this commemoration, what next? What next?
We're going to work with the mission here to make this an international story. We're going to continue to do all the work I talked about, in terms of, legislation and legal battles and school, educating our children in school, grassroots work. We've all been arrested for protesting, and so we'll continue to get arrested and we'll continue to protest. That's what Dr. King taught us, right? Is that, if you believe in something, then you do what it takes to make sure that it's successful. So we will continue to be activists, advocates in whatever way we have to be, in order to, our goal, which I guess we didn't talk about, our goal is to create a museum so that a lot of the artifacts, a lot of the remains, can be told in a museum, can be institutionalized so that no one can ever deny their existence again. And then we're fighting for reparations. We want the descendants to also, there needs to be accountability. And right now, there's no accountability. So we want to see the reparations because that's a part of the accountability issue.
For more information on how you can support them, visit the website BethesdaAfricanCemeteryCoalition.net. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.